Hey there, my name is Przemek and this is the review of Michał Kiełbasa, Aleksander Papierz Movements album, released by Antena Non Grata. Once again, it's a niche or niche. I'm not sure if I should pronounce in English or in French. Let's say niche album by Polish artists. Released by Polish underground label, and once again I have my doubts if I shouldn't record this particular reviews in the Polish language. So I'd like to ask you, my dear non-Polish viewers and listeners, are you interested also in this very Polish and very underground artists and materials? Let me know in the comments here on our Facebook or via email on the blog. Just a minute. Nie teraz. Sorry. This is another Antena Non Grata release and another collaboration of two musicians. As usual in case of Antena Non Grata albums, also this one is quite challenging and you have to keep that in mind. First of all, I'd like to introduce you those two musicians. Michał Kiełbasa, aka Nathan, is a prolific musician and also a concert technician for such black metal bands like Mayhem, Mgła or Marduk. As an artist, his fascinations are quite diverse. He has an industrial doom metal band called Whale Song, black metal output Lifeless Gaze. He's also quite into power electronics because he has two power electronic projects, Lugola and Harman of Struggle. Also he shows a totally different sensibility in his neo-folk project called Grave of Love. Does he have a hip-hop music in his mind or a reggae ska band? I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think he does. To be honest, I don't know much about the second musician, Aleksander Papierz, even though he comes from my hometown, Katowice, but it seems he's a pretty respected saxophone player here in Poland. He performed on huge jazz or experimental festivals like Warsaw Summer Jazz Days or Avant Festival, and he worked with pretty big names here in Poland like Mikołaj Trzaska or Wojciech Waglewski. If you're non-Polish, it's possibly you're not familiar with these names, but believe me, they are big here in my in our Polish world of jazz or rock and ambitious music in general. So, movements. These are four live improvisations. Sorry. Challenging, as I mentioned, recorded live in the studio. These are harsh industrial drones, something getting closer to dark ambient, but more often to power electronics or old school industrial. These tracks are flowing, another loops are added along the way, and then in this industrial maelstrom suddenly avant saxophone parts appear, and it's like two musical worlds collide. It's like a kind of experimental jazz concert in a factory which is still in full operating mode, and there was no one to switch off all the machinery. Does it work together, you may ask? Well, it requires an open mind, certainly, and to some point rejecting the traditional listening habits. Actually, if you're familiar with music I talk or write about, such attitude may be nothing new, as most of experimental music we deal in Santa Sangre requires an open mind and such approach to the music. Most of the time, movements sound pretty interesting and powerful, though this calmer and more atmospheric movement number 4 is probably my favorite part of the album. But there are a few moments on this CD when I feel like they're playing their parts, the musicians playing their parts kind of separately, without paying attention what the other guy performs at the moment. I mean, it's my impression, and it refers only to the fragment with the saxophone parts, because I believe Aleksander Papierz also operates on the other analog or electronic devices. And I'm not considering it as a major flaw, to be honest, but as something you need to be prepared for before you begin your adventure with this album. After all, such dissonance is the peculiar charm of improvised experimental music performed not by a experienced band playing together for 20 years, but by two musicians with huge creative imagination, and who just teamed up together for one quick studio session. And a certain abstraction is inherent in this type of art, in my opinion. So I suppose this shouldn't be considered as something bad. But something you need to deal with to discover all the secrets hidden in these sounds. But what am I saying? This isn't easy listening. This is Antena non grata. If you like challenging sounds, this one's for you. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.